In the cold Atlantic night, a ship runs aground. Waves smash the hull. Hundreds are swept away. But in the chaos, acts of heroism shine through. A steward carrying children to safety on his back. This is the haunting true story of the SS Atlantic. The SS Atlantic was one of the proudest ships of her day, an iron-hulled marvel launched in 1871 by the White Star Line. She was built to cross the Atlantic with speed and style, her decks filled with travelers chasing dreams of a new life in America. In March of 1873, the Atlantic left Liverpool, bound for New York with nearly 1,000 souls aboard. Families with young children, hopeful laborers seeking fortune, and a seasoned crew who knew these waters well. The great ship steamed westward, her engines pounding like a heartbeat beneath the waves. But as they neared the coast of Canada, Captain James Williams realized the coal bunkers were running dangerously low. He made a fateful decision: turn north for Halifax, Nova Scotia, a closer port that promised safety and fuel. The sea that night was a shifting darkness, a fog rolling over the waves like a shroud. The cold Atlantic wind cut through wool coats and froze the breath in men's lungs. But above the gentle roll of the ship, there was no sense of danger, no warning that jagged rocks waited in the gloom. In the early hours of March 31st, the Atlantic plowed ahead blindly. The crew believed they were still miles from shore, but the reef at Mars Head lay just below the surface, hidden by darkness and mist. At 3 a.m., the ship struck the rocks with a grinding, tearing sound that echoed like a death knell. Iron plates buckled and cracked. Seawater poured in, filling the lower decks in minutes. Panic erupted. Lanterns swung wildly as families scrambled for lifeboats, their cries lost in the roar of the sea. The Atlantic listed heavily, waves smashing over the bow and sweeping men and women into the freezing black water. Those who could scrambled up the masts, clinging to the rigging like desperate birds. The ship's decks tilted steeply, the ocean clawing at every corner. In that nightmarish darkness, some clung to hope, others to each other. But amid the chaos, heroism rose above fear. John Hindley, a steward, became a lifeline for the helpless. Time and again he braved the icy surf, carrying children and women on his back through the crashing waves and up the sharp, frozen rocks to safety. His arms ached, his breath ragged, but he refused to stop. Other sailors followed his example, forming human chains to pull the terrified from the water. Fishermen from nearby villages woke to the cries of the drowning and rushed to the cliffs, risking their lives to help strangers. They tied ropes around their waists, wading into the swirling blackness to haul survivors up the cliffs. For hours, the cold Atlantic claimed the weak and the unlucky. Wooden lifeboats splintered against the rocks, and men who had fought wars on land now fought the endless, merciless sea. But still, those acts of quiet bravery shone in the darkness, proof that even in the grip of tragedy, some hearts refused to break. By morning, over 550 souls had been lost. The Atlantic lay broken on the reef, her elegant salons and grand staircases reduced to ruin beneath the waves. But 429 survived, pulled from the icy grasp of the Atlantic by the courage of a few. For decades after, the survivors told the story of that night, the terror and the mercy, the cries of the lost and the strength of those who stood fast. The ship's bell still rests beneath the waves, a silent witness to the horror and the heroism of that cold dawn. The sinking of the SS Atlantic remains one of the deadliest maritime disasters of the 19th century. But in the darkness and the fury of the sea, there were moments of light, proof that even as the ocean claimed its due, human courage could stand against it. Thank you for listening to the Sunken Ledger. Subscribe for more true tales from the depths